From the heart of Silicon Valley in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area, I am Sudipto Chatterjee and this is Economically Speaking with Atanu De. On Economically Speaking, we talk about economic topics and how they affect our world. Atanu, welcome back. How have you been?
Thank you. I've been quite well, and I'm traveling, going to Pune today.
Fantastic. You're like this globetrotter right now.
At least, if not the globetrotter, I'm trotting around India. So it's fun.
I'm sure it is. Lucky you. So, Atanu, without further ado, from the last episode, we left on a sort of a cliffhanger where you were about to tell us why certain societies work so well, whereas some others don't. And knowledge is apparently central to unraveling this mystery. Why is knowledge so important? Like, what is so special about this?
Yeah, knowledge is important in an economy. So first we need to understand what is an economy. How would you define an economy?
Okay, an economy is a group of people who are interacting with each other, producing stuff, exchanging stuff, and then eventually consuming that stuff.
Yeah, so that is a nice definition of an economy where people are interacting to produce, consume, and trade with each other, exchange stuff. Now, when you want to produce something, you need to know how to produce. So that involves knowledge. You know how to make, maybe write a program that you know, and somebody else can make a pot. So that's knowledge, how to do something. But more importantly, they need to know what needs to be produced. So if you produce something which nobody is interested in using, you have wasted your time. So you need to know what is in demand, what is being produced. And then you have to know, because whenever you produce something, you have choices, you have options. You say, which is the right thing to use to make this thing? So you need knowledge there also. On the consumer side, you need to know where something is available, at what price, and you decide, given your budget, where to go get it, to make choices in consumption. And then trade, of course, involves knowing where and how, so on.
Okay. So
everything involves knowledge, but the important thing is this knowledge is distributed among the people. You know what you're capable of producing and how, you know some prices, and so also as a consumer, you know where to get some, you know your own preferences, your own abilities, etc. This knowledge is distributed among the participants of the extended order.
So, Atanu, hold on. Just so that we are clear, could you please explain that extended order bit once again?
So the idea is that whenever you deal in the marketplace, you're conducting one transaction. You buy something. Let's say you buy a loaf of bread. That is the direct interaction that you had. But back out there, somebody had to make the bread and make it available and buy all the ingredients, hire all the people. All those things happened and culminated in the final transaction that you did, just buying a loaf of bread. So the extended order is all the interactions that take place in the background. You can say upstream. You're downstream of all those interactions. And the extended order includes all the actions that happened, an innumerable amount of actions that happened that brought the final transaction to happen, where you paid some money and you got some bread. If you look at the economy, everybody is interacting with everybody else because this network is very, very deep and extensive. So therefore, we can say that in an economy, knowledge is local in the sense that everybody knows a little bit about what's going on. And this knowledge, local knowledge, is dispersed and it is not aggregated in any specific location.
So how is that an advantage?
The advantage is this: if you have to take action that it you need only a limited amount of knowledge to take the action that you are interested in taking. You do not need to know everything about the economy. You know your preferences, you know your abilities, you know what is available, what your choices are, and you make your decision based upon that limited amount of knowledge. Now, the limited amount of knowledge that you have is based upon the information that is available in the economy. This information gets translated or brought to you in a set of prices. So what the price does is it tells you in a compact form, it guides you to take the next action that you have to take. So when the information is dispersed, because the knowledge is dispersed, but that knowledge, based upon that dispersed knowledge, individuals take actions, that creates an order where all the information is aggregated into something called the price. So you don't need to know anything other than the price of a thing to include in your calculation whether what are you going to do next with it. So if the price of, say, gasoline goes up, if gas prices go up, you don't know whether it is because of the fact that some refinery caught fire and there's not enough, the supply has gone down, or it could be that the gas prices have gone up because suddenly there's a lot of demand for the gas. There's more people have bought new cars or stuff, things like that. You don't need to know what is the reason behind it. All you need to know that gas prices have gone up, and then you make your decision based upon that limited amount of information that you got, and that becomes a guide to your future action. So in any economy, the dispersed knowledge gets translated into prices, and prices guide the actions of people in the future.
So you're pointing at a very interesting conclusion here, that the condensed form of knowledge is basically the price. I mean, that's a new way of looking at a price. If I'm about to purchase 5 kilos of potatoes at a supermarket, then the price I'm paying for that 5 kilo actually represents all the knowledge that is needed for somebody to plant it, to water it, to harvest it, to weigh it, to bring it all the way to the market and sell it to me.
Well, yeah, in some sense, here's how it works. When you see the price of potatoes in a market, you just need to know what the price is, because that's what your outlay is dependent upon that, and you'll make a choice whether I'm going to buy potatoes or I'm going to buy avocados. So you make choices based upon the prices. Now, the price encapsulates within itself all the effort that has gone in producing the potato. And therefore, the grower got some signals from different prices that the grower faced. The grower had to arrange for water, for the potato seeds, for taking care of it, and then had to pay somebody to harvest the potatoes and bring it to the market and all that. You don't know how much each of these factors of production was paid. All you know is that whatever they were paid, the whole thing, that information, which you don't know, gets aggregated into this little bit of information which says potatoes are 30 cents a pound. What this achieves is an economizing of information. That is, you don't need to know a whole lot, you just need to know the price. When you go and buy a car, you are not interested in how much the engine costs and how much the windshields and how much the wheels. All you need to know that this car costs $20,000, and then you make a decision based upon your preferences and whether you like this or that. Prices actually economize on information, and Knowledge is something that each one of us has. Information is the basis upon which we create our knowledge. Our knowledge is based on information, but information is not the same thing as knowledge.
I have two questions here. Number one, you are using economy or economize as a verb here. I want to dig a little deeper into what you mean by, or what you mean by that, because so far we have been saying what is an economy, and then it's a noun that we are saying. So when you say economizing something, what do you mean by that?
We are economizing in the sense that we don't need to use a lot of it. So when you economize on something, you can get by with a little of it, and that's sufficient. And information is in some sense a difficult thing to handle. So if I give you too much information, you won't know what to do with it. Whereas if you can economize on the information, if a little bit is sufficient for you to make a decision as what you need to do. So that is what I'm calling economizing on the information. If I give you too much information about the manufacturing process, what happened, this, that, and the other, you say, no, don't tell me all that. Just tell me what I need to know. I just need to know what is the price and the features of this laptop that you're giving me. I don't really need to know the little bits that go into it and how much each of those. It's not important to you. All you need to know is the price and its features, what it can do for you.
Okay, that explains it, and which is a good segue into my other question I had, where you mentioned that the price tag or the price of an item is also a bit of information, and it's not knowledge per se. It's just a point of information for me as a consumer of that good. Yeah,
so have we discussed the distinction between knowledge and information?
Yes.
Information, just to reiterate, is something that is some facts about some objects in the world. That's information. Knowledge is the information that is resident in some human brain, someone's head, inside someone's head. So if I were to give you a book on economics, you have the information, but it doesn't mean that you understand economics. You have to translate it into knowledge in your head by reading the book, putting in some effort, and so on. So whereas while knowledge does require or has a foundation of information, just by having information doesn't mean you have knowledge. Knowledge has to do with knowing. So when my telephone number is a piece of information that can be written down on a piece of paper and conveyed to another person. But for you to know my telephone number, you have to actually read it, and then it becomes knowledge in your head. So that is, information is the foundation, but knowledge is what gets inside your head.
Okay, so if we started off by saying that we would go into the subtitle of our podcast of human action and extended order, and you have been touching upon that extended order bit for a while. First of all, what is this order that we are talking about before we even go into the extended or regular part of it?
There is some, we appreciate the fact that we have a society in which there is order. There's not chaos. There's not, random things happening. It's an orderly society, more or less. Now, this order we are talking about an extended order in the sense that it is not just a little pocket of order in a vast field of chaos going around. Extended order in the sense there is a certain regularity going around and a fairly wide geographical range and a large number of actors, agents people, citizens all interacting with each other. Now, how did this extended order come about? How does it work? That is something we have to be able to understand and explain. And it is all has to do with human action, in the sense that you don't have a society is a bunch of humans interacting and doing things. So human action somehow leads to an extended order which does not require somebody else from the top giving orders. There is order emerges. It is not something that is created through design. So it is, as has been pointed out, it is a consequence of human action but not of human design. Nobody actually intended it this way. They are all doing their own little bit, and by their doing their own little bit, they are creating an order which nobody has to order. Order emerges without orders. Now think about it like this: when you see a battalion or an army marching, what's happening there? There's an order from the top. The general gives the commands, and then it comes down from the top, and the sergeants, and finally the soldiers carry out the thing, and they march in lockstep and all that. So that is an order that emerges from the orders from the top. It's a command and control system. Whereas the order that emerges in the market system, there's nobody giving orders from the top, and yet order emerges. Because humans coordinate their activities with each other with the little knowledge that they have. They don't know at all. They just know, oh, the price of these things are this, so I can produce this, or I can consume that. So you have a little amount of information. That's all you need. And you do your thing, and I do my thing, and everybody else does their thing. And order emerges without orders from the top. That's the miracle.
I have a feeling we need to discuss a lot more about this before I can wrap my head around it. But maybe that will be a good topic for our next episode. Thank you so much for your time, Atanu, then.
All right, Sudipta, you take care, and we'll talk more on this topic because it's not that easy to appreciate, but once you get the hang of it, you realize how wonderful it is. So we'll talk more about it the next time.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Hey folks, do you know we have a website now? It's called, yes, you guessed it, www.economicallyspeaking.org. You can leave us comments there as well. We are looking for any questions you might have of our episodes from before, or if you have a specific topic in mind that you would like us to cover. Give us a call. Also, we are available on Twitter at @econspeaking and Facebook, facebook.com/economicallyspeaking. Thank you very much.